Hello everybody, welcome to Stratoscale Hybrid DevOps Pros. I'm Ariel, and with me is Moti. I'm Moti.
Ariel.
Today we're going to talk about NVIDIA GPU support on Symphony. So Moti, tell us about GPU support.
Okay, so we have here a 4-node cluster. We can see that it is of different, it has different memory and CPU, and we can see also that Starter node 2 has 2 GPUs and Starter node 3 has 1, where the others has no GPUs.
So this is an asymmetrical cluster. I see here 3 machine types. One is 6-core 64 gig, another is 16-core 96 gig, and another is 16-core 192 gig. And actually the 192 gig has a single GPU, and the 96 gig machine has 2 GPUs. Interesting configuration. Okay, so and Symphony can create a single cluster out of that. Fantastic.
Yes. So in order to have an instance with GPU, first we have to create an instance type that defines the type of GPU and its amount.
Okay.
So let's create some. Okay. Let's bring it a meaningful name. Call it 1 Tesla. Let's give it some vCPUs and memory.
Okay, 8 gig, 4 cores.
Yes, and in order to attach a GPU device, we will click on that checkbox.
Okay, so we have a direct attached PCI device in that instance. And that device, you're going to select?
I'm going to select the NVIDIA Tesla P100.
Okay.
And for this instance type, I will give amount of 1.
Okay, so this is an instance type with a single NVIDIA P100.
That's true. Let's create it, and in the meantime, let's create another one, which is the same, but this one is going to have 2 GPUs. Very simple.
Okay. So we created 2 instance types, one with 2 GPUs attached and one with a single GPU attached.
Yes.
That's easy.
That's easy. Now we are going to create the instances. It's very similar to the way you create instance today, but the difference is that you have to select the instance type that you created, the one with the GPU.
Of course, if I want to run a GPU-based application, I need to select an instance type that supports it. So
I will first create instance with 2 GPUs.
Okay.
I'm selecting an image which is Ubuntu with the drivers and the benchmark I installed in advance. I'm selecting the instance type with 2 GPUs,
Okay.
connecting to a shared net.
It's powering up on start. Right?
Yes, let's
That's
create
it.
it.
Wow, that was fast.
That was fast. Give it a couple of seconds and it will be active. And then we're going to connect it using SSH and we run the benchmark. Let's step inside.
Okay, so this instance is running on Strato node 3,
Yes,
which was the node with 2 GPU attached to it.
that's correct.
And Symphony is automatically mapping the workload to the right node that can support it.
In the meantime, I will copy the IP of the VM. Not like this, but like this. Let's open. Okay, it's active. Let's log in using SSH. Yes, typing the password. Okay, so now I will run the benchmark.
Okay, so typo there. Yeah. Okay, so now you're going to run a CUDA benchmark on the node that we've allocated.
Yes, you can see the benchmark. Let's focus on these parameters. You can see, for instance, the memory bandwidth is 550 gigabytes per second.
Okay.
And if you open the NVIDIA Tesla P100 spec, we can see that it's very pricey. Let's see what the spec tells us. And you can see that for the 12 gigs, the GPU memory is
549. Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
So we achieved the benchmark on the card. Very nice.
Yes.
Great. So we just saw how easy it is to attach an NVIDIA P100 to an instance and run it on Symphony. Thank you, Moti.
Thank you, Ariel.